75 years of Nairobi National Park. This, indeed, as Najib has just said, is the only national park in a capital city anywhere on earth. And it is also an iconic part of our metropolitan landscape. Opened over 7.5 decades ago, when Nairobi was still a very small, sleepy settlement, into what it is today, a vibrant city that is a continental hub, but also a regional gateway. And as Nairobi has grown, this park has remained a place where residents and our international visitors can engage with nature against the backdrop of our polis. So on this occasion, we are here together to reaffirm our commitment to preserving the natural beauty of our land and passing the same to future generations in as good a condition or even better than we found it. Those that came before us made deliberate choices to balance rapid social and economic development with conservation of our plant and animal life. And because of this foresight, Kenya today prides itself as having a thriving national park system comprising over 23 terrestrial national parks, 4 marine national parks, 28 terrestrial national reserves, 6 marine national reserves, as well as 7 national nature sanctuaries. But beyond our national parks, at the county level, we also boast thousands of local parks, arboretums, large gardens and green spaces. And ours is a clear example that development need not come at the cost of nature or environment. As our capital city and this Nairobi National Park have clearly illustrated, it is perfectly possible to juxtapose towering skyscrapers alongside towering necks of giraffes and to have the sound of traffic being a short drive away from the call of elephants and rhinos and all sorts of other things. To also have a digital savanna like we do in Konza, sitting right next to a wonderful nature reserve as this. So to conserve and indeed to improve our natural beauty, I believe that all concerned agencies and individual citizens must always remain on guard and play their rightful role in protecting this inheritance. This calls for proactive management plans that address current threats, but also ones that anticipate future ones. And to this end, the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife should put in place or implement the management plan for Nairobi National Park to ensure that this park serves humanity for posterity. Ladies and gentlemen, we're all aware that threats still abound, from poaching, habitat fragmentation, Najib, and also habitat degradation, changes in land use, human encroachment, but also the adverse impacts of climate change. This all combined place unprecedented threats on our natural beauty and the splendor of our heritage. This situation has also been compounded by the increasing levels of human-wildlife conflict, inadequate financing from conservation activities, lack of personnel, resources, as well as equipment. We are trying to alleviate some of these challenges. We have increased, as you heard from Najib, our own national budgetary allocation to environment and wildlife conservation, and we shall continue to increase our support for the conservation agenda. Poaching and illegal wildlife trade is a multifaceted issue encompassing development, economic, environmental, social, security dimensions. As a government, we are committed to eradicate poaching and to end the illicit trade in wildlife. But it is critically important that we also collectively raise awareness not just on the serious effects of wildlife crime, but also highlight the need to secure wildlife habitats. Again, as was mentioned, we have had the opportunity to increase this park by an additional 2,000 acres. We are working to see if we can get more. And further, we have also expanded the corridor to the Swara International Livestock Research Institute, ILRI, by increasing the space by a further 1,900 acres. I want to take this opportunity to commend the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife and also the management of the Kenya Wildlife Service for the job that they are doing in ensuring that the conservation and protection of our national parks and wildlife is maintained. And I thank you, Najib, and your team for the passionate leadership and commitment that all of you have shown to protect this unique natural treasure called Nairobi National Park that all of us hold very dear. It is also with pride that we note that the number of cases of poaching have, especially for endangered animals, is reaching almost zero. We lost, as you heard, only one rhino to poaching in the year 2020, and we did manage not only to arrest the culprits, but also to recover the trophy. The same applies to elephant as well as other big game. We remain committed to continuing to support KWS and its multi-agency partners in their quest for completely eradicating poaching from our midst. Indeed, it is very pleasing for the last few years to consistently get reports not of declining numbers, but of increasing numbers, especially of the most endangered. Hongera kwenu nyote, asanteni sana. So to give this quest greater impetus and to enhance wildlife conservation and to address the emerging challenges, the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife, KWS, should also use new innovations, use of technology and other innovative measures to address the wildlife challenges, particularly poaching. Adoption of technology and innovation will not only greatly improve efficiency and reduce costs, but will also provide an avenue for our local universities to contribute to this noble campaign. So I conclude once again by going back and paying tribute to the pioneers of conservation in this country, Kenya. Their dream of preserving our national treasures have led to the present reality that we are now all enjoying. And to honor these heroes, the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife is today directed to put in place a recognition mechanism for such heroes with a special category that also recognizes the efforts of our young and future conservationists. I particularly look forward today to honoring our young citizens who have contributed to keeping our parks clean and clear of litter. In addition, steps to address human-wildlife conflict in their communities, and also the young Kenyans who have used their talents and platforms to bring awareness to the need to conserve our natural beauty and wildlife. By highlighting this next generation of conservation heroes, we are not only providing them and others with an example that other young people can follow, but we also lay the foundation for a new generation of nature warriors who will take up the fight in the years to come. Let me then end by underscoring the fact that for 75 years, the Nairobi National Park has been the shine of the green city in the sun, and indeed it is my sincere hope that this national park shall stand here in the same pristine condition, not just for another 75 years, but also for many centuries that are to come. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank all who have partnered with the ministry, with KWS, the Hora community, who have actively worked together. Tunawashukuru, asanteni sana, pongezi. To all our other development partners. But really just to also underscore that the future of conservation, especially as our population increases, and as I said the other day, with a projected population of almost 100 million people in the year 2063, we really need to think out of the box to know how we will be able, with such growing populations, take care of this magnificent beauty that has been inherited from our forefathers. We need to really think imaginatively how will we do it, and how will we ensure that future generations are able to live side by side with nature, with our wildlife, as we have done. But that will require a tremendous amount of true thinking out of the box. Nairobi by that time will be a city with almost 10 to 12 million residents. Lazima tufikirie jameni. Lazima tufikirie, tusianze kukatakata maploti huku alafu tufanye shida. Kwa hayo machache na mengi, na washukuru nyote. Asanteni sana. Rangers wetu, shukrani, heko, hongera. Wale wote ambao wamehusika, tutaendelea kusaidiana. Tulinde hii ambaye Mwenyezi Mungu ametupatia iwe yetu, ndio tuweze kurithi watoto wetu pia wawe na nafasi ya kufurahia mema kama vile sisi tuko hapa leo tuwafurahie. Asanteni sana na Mungu awabariki. Thank you.
Asanti sana Mheshimiwa Rais, na kwa dakika chache tu
Well, that's President Uhuru Kenyatta there at the Nairobi National Park, which is celebrating its 75th anniversary. And of course, one of the most important things to remember is that it is the only national park in the world that is in a capital city. And of course, because of its uniqueness, we should do all that it takes to ensure that it is safeguarded for future as well as the current generation. Well, happy birthday, happy 75th birthday to Nairobi National Park, and let's toast for many more years to come. Happy birthday, Nairobi National Park.